Alright, so hi, and this is the first stream of 2021, and I think it's gonna be awesome. So, first of all, मैंने folder बना लिया है. So this is our folder where we have the scripts file, the styles folder, and our index.html, which is going to be basically our calculator, and this is what we're gonna do with. So the main objective is to make a simple calculator just using JavaScript, and that's what we are going to do. So let's open our folder in Visual Studio Code, like always. Although making a calculator is really easy, I thought that let's start 2021 with something a little bit easy on the side, and I just turn this on. So we have got our vendors.html. Let's add our template first, and we're going to give a title of calculator this. There are going to be two parts in our calculator. First is going to be the display area where we'll see all the calculations happening, and then a button area where we'll have all the buttons, the numbers, and the operators, I guess. So we are going to need two divisions here. So let's make two divisions first. The first divisions, let's just give it an ID of let's say calc display area, and yeah, we're going to do the designing part first and then the JavaScript part. The second is going to be a division with ID of calc op area or operations area. Well, let's make it OPS then. OPS area. So these are going to be our two divisions. The first is going to be used for displaying, and the second is going to be used for operations. Now, first of all, let's link our style sheet, and we haven't made our style sheet yet, and let's make one. So we're going to go with dot styles folder, and then inside of it we are going to use main.css. The type is again going to be text/css, and relation is going to be style sheet. With that out of the way, we can go to styles folder and then create our main.sas file. We are going to use Sas in our project now, and you need to install an extension which is called, I'll just show you that, it's called live Sas Compiler right here. So you need to install this in order to compile Sas files directly, and then you can just, you don't need to write the CSS file, then it just auto compiles it. So yeah, let's go to our folder again, and what we want to do is we want to click on watch Sas here and go live so that we can see our previews. Okay, so we have an empty space right here. So first of all, let's go and add a few important things. First of all, we're going to use box sizing of border box, and we'll have margin of 0. We don't want margin in any of our elements altogether. Also, we can use this to set a font family, and well, no, let's go with Calibri, I guess. We can change that later, obviously. But since I'm working on Windows, maybe Calibri might be the best way to do that. Alright, so we have two main parts in our calculator: display area and operations area. So first of all, we're going to concentrate on display area, or let's just start with body, I guess. We need to give a background, right? So let's set a background of, let's say, FC. There's just going to be a grayish version of the white which you're used to, nothing else. And let's see the output right here. Okay, so we are going somewhere. Now what we want to do is we want to add our ID calc display area inside of our body. So I'll just place it here, and I'll write its properties right inside of it. Now what we want to do is we want to set a width to it, and let's set a width of you know, maybe 300 pixels might be enough, I guess. And then let's set a background to it, the background of, let's say, FA. Yeah, we don't have anything. We need to add a height, and let's add a height of 30 viewport height for this. And then we're going to use the other 30 viewport height. There is 60 viewport height for actually 70 viewport height for our operations area. All right, the display should be blocked by default, but yeah, let's do that too. And let's add a height to our body of 100 viewport heights. Okay, so yeah, we have got this display area right here, but yeah, we can't see that. It's so subtle. We need to change the colors. Let's go with a little bit darker. Let's go with EA, and yeah, that is visible now. We'll be changing that colors later once we have done our most of the designing part. Let's change our width, and let's make it let's say 30 viewport width instead of giving it a pixels, which looks better. Now what we're going to do is we want to set a margin of auto just to make sure that it comes in center of the page. All right, now we want to make the same rules for our calc operations area, so we can just copy paste a lot of them, and maybe we just need to change the height property and the background. Let's think of a background right here. So let's add a background of well, let's go with an FA again. This time it won't matter a lot, I guess. Well, because we just have to use it to display our buttons, and we have to change the height to 70 viewport height so that it takes the full screen. All right, we have made our, well, yeah, let's just show you what it looks like when it's done. Let me just make this one as 1E0E 0E. Yeah, 1E0E 0E. So you can see that this part right here, the darker part is going to be our calc display area, while this lighter part is going to be our buttons area. And yeah, that's it. So we are going to first of all, well, add a lot of buttons. Let's do that. Let's add a lot of buttons. So what we'll do is we'll go to our calc operations area, and here we want to add well, I don't know how many buttons. Let's see a calculator I have, right? Okay, so there's actually a standard calculator, and here we have, well, I guess 4 buttons and 5 rows, because we're not going to add these buttons right here. I'm not comfortable with that. All right, so actually we can do that. Let's see. So we have got 4 buttons and then 5 rows or 6 rows, depending on what I want to implement. Okay, so let's add a table, I guess, and inside of table we are going to have 5 TRs, yeah, 5 TRs and 4 TDs. So that will make a table of 5 rows and 4 columns. All right, so let's add first TR right here, and then we'll add 5 TDs. So let's just start with basic calculations, 1 2 3 4. We just want to make sure that it's working, nothing else, and we're going to do the same thing for next 5 TRs. Okay, so here we are, it's working for us right now. Now what we're going to do is we want to give all of these equal width property and give it a background color as well. So let's go back to our main.sas file, and in our operations area, first of all we're going to say that our table is going to have a display of block and it's going to take width of 100%. So it will take the whole width inside of calculator OP's area. Now after that, inside of table we have got our TRs, and actually I don't think we need to style the TRs, but yeah, let's see. So let's directly go with TD. Here what we want to do is we want to set a width to it, and since we have 25% to all the TDs, well, it didn't work, right? Okay, yeah, it should be in line. So displays property is not required, but it's not taking 25% of width, I guess. Let's inspect this. Let's inspect this part. Alright, so yeah, it's taking 25%, but it does not seem to take it. Okay, let's add a background then. Let's see if adding a background helps us to know more clearly what's happening right here. So I don't think it's taking 25% of the width of the whole. Okay, yeah, okay, so yeah, we need to style the TR too. Alright, we need to style the TR too. So we need to set a width for TR, a width of 100%. And then inside of the TR, we're going to add a TD. This might just be the reason why it was not working earlier, and it's still not working. So what is the width of TR? It's 100%. So should we like add a main property here, something like that? Let's add just, let's say 40 pixels. Does that even work? Alright, that works. At least something works. I think the percent might not be working for TDs, so we need to think of some alternative. Now we know that this whole display area, or the operations area for our case, is taking 30 viewport width of space. So what will just divide 30 viewport width in 4 parts, which is 7.5 viewport width. Let's try that. 7.5 viewport width. Alright, that works, and now we have got our TDs in equal proportion. So let's add, we don't need to add anything here, I guess. Let's just add a height property, and again it's 70 viewport height, and we have to divide it in 5 parts. So does it even work? Can we even divide 70 in 5 parts? Let's just check that. 70 divided by 5. Well, no, we are making calculator and we are using it. Okay, 14. Yeah, that works. So we have to set a height of 14 viewport height for our buttons, and that's a lot. Let's reduce it. Let's make it 12 viewport height. That works. So if we're going with that, let's make it 60 viewport height right here, and let's make it 40 viewport height right there. That will help us just a little bit. We just I did something which I don't know what to do. Alright, I'll just set it to 62 viewport height, and we're done with that. So we have got our button areas, at least we have got our TDs. Now what we want to do is we want to add some JavaScript functions right here, but before that let's check what happens if I write something right here. Okay, so inside of division display area, yeah, we have to make an text area, and that text area is the thing which is going to display our values. So let's just add something right here, and let's add an ID of well, let's say calc output, I guess that might do. All right, and now we want to style our calc output. So inside of our calc display area, we'll go with hash calc output, and well, again, we're just going to give a width of 100% just to be sure, and a height of 100% again, because we want just it to take the whole height thing. Okay, and we are going to remove the border, so we'll say border none. We'll increase the font size. Let's increase the font size. Let's set it to what about 6 viewport height? That works. And okay, yeah, I know what's happening here. It's just because we're using lots of tab space. Well, I guess we can increase the size to a little bit more, maybe 7 viewport height, or let's go with 6.5 viewport height. That is great, and let me just minimize it. Let me just get it out of the way. So this size looks great, I guess. We can increase the size, obviously, and I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna set it to 7.5 viewport height. What are we gonna do about that? Well, now I think it's almost done. So we want to go to our TDs and change this color from brown to some actual color. Well, we can go with lots of colors, and we have one here, HSLA. Well, why are we using HSLA color? I don't know. All right, so let's set something like a simple EA, and then when it gets hovered, we want to add an hover property. So we're just gonna say and hover. So when we hover over it, the background should just darken a little bit. So let's say instead of EA, it becomes, well, E6. That just darkens it a little bit, and that gives us a button-like effect. Now another thing which you want to do is you want to just add a focus thingy also. So when a user clicks the button, we want the background to, well, let's say we want to go even we want to set it to DF, even darker when clicked on it. Alright, so that works, and the focus property is not working. We need to see how to make a TD focusable. That's the thing which we can do, but I don't remember how to do that. Make an HTML element focusable. So it says we can use a property called tab index to make that focusable. So let's try that. Let's add a tab index in our TD of, let's say, -1, and we are just going to add it in all of these if it works. Alright, yeah, it's getting focused. Well, we need to change our focus color to know the difference, I guess. Let's make it CF. Alright, yeah, it's working for sure. Now what we want to do is we want to remove all the outlines. So we'll go to our star again and we'll say outline equals none. We don't want any outlines like what were happening before. Okay, this is done now, and now we gotta add tab index to all of our TDs. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to search for this, and I'm going to replace it with tab index. of -1. Find it in a place. Okay, yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna just undo it and then add this also. It works now. All right, let's save it. Let's see the output, and yeah, we can obviously focus on every single TDs of it. Now, let's add our buttons, shall we? Let's take a look at our calculator. Well, did I close my calculator? So this is obviously a Windows calculator, nothing like that. We have got a CEC and delete. Well, I might not focus on all of these. I'll just first of all go with the basic buttons. So let's start with 0, decimal, and equals to. And before that, we also need to add something. Well, what does this button do? I don't even know. Negate. Okay, so if I say 8 and negate it, it's gonna negate it. Okay, so I can make that also. All right, so the first line is going to be as same as this. So we're going to add a negate button, a 0 button, a decimal, and an equal to. So it was plus minus or minus plus, whatever, then a 0, then a decimal, and then the equal to. After that, we are just going to follow it 1 2 3 plus. So 1 2 3 and a plus 4 5 6, and I might just be doing these things wrong because what I'm doing is it's gonna lead to the elements start to come from top instead of bottom, and yeah, I may just check that once. So 4 5 6 minus. Yep, I knew I was doing that. All right, we'll see what we can do about that then. 4 5 6 minus 7 8 9 and multiply. What else have we left? So there's 1 by x. So this basically, if I write 1 and then 1 by 8, it becomes 0.125, then x square, and then square root of x, and then divide. Okay, so let's do that. 1 by x, then x squared, x and sup 2. Yep, and then we have to write square root of x. Well, I don't know how to add that simple, but yeah, we can always say 1 by 2 of x. So x and sub of 1 by 2, and then we have got a divide sign. So let's add that. Okay, now let's go back to our TD, and we gotta add a few more styles. So first of all, our text align is going to be center. Let's centralize all of these, and let's increase the font size to let's say 5 viewport height. That's a lot bigger than expected, so 4 might just work, or let's go with 3.6. Ah, take. All right, this looks good now. The font size is great here, so we have to reverse all of this, just make it in the correct order. So I'll just start cutting it from bottom and pasting it into from top and paste it in the bottom. So our calc looks the way it should look like. Now there's one more thing which we have to do, and the thing is that this should be disabled. No one should be able to just click on the text area and write their own elements, because if I just remove disabled, anyone can go there and write an ASD, any alphabet, and we can't evaluate alphabets in a calculator, I guess. So we have to keep it disabled so that no one can evaluate it. And I'm just going to write a simple expression here so that we can know it's gonna work. All right, these two are looking eerily similar now. So we are going to our index.html file now, and we are going to add lots of functions, and I mean lot of functions. So yeah, let's start with equal to itself. We're going to say on click, let's say an evaluate function should be triggered when equal to is clicked. And now I'm just going to copy this part, and I'm just going to say write decimal. This is how I'm gonna name my functions. It's just going to be write, and then so it's going to be okay, sorry, yeah, I have to copy all of this and paste it here, and I'll copy this again, just to make my life easier for later. And I'm just going to say write 0. Okay, so yeah, I can easily skip this part, but yeah, I'll be skipping the JavaScript part already, so I thought that let's just do this one. So I'm just going to say write negate, write add, write 3, the rest of things, right? I'm just going to say that you have to write this, write 1. Why aren't you writing 1? That's my problem with you. Do what you're done, do what you're being set to do, write uh, write a sub, write a 6, and yeah, so on. I'm wasting a lot of time here. Write a 4, write a product, or just prod, write a 9. And since I'm wasting a lot of time here, I'll be skipping the repetitive JavaScript part where I have to write all these actual functions for write 4 and write 5 and write 9. I'll just show you one of those functions, how they work, and then I'm going to skip lots of them. I'll just copy paste from a different file which I've already prepared. Write 8, write 8, no, because there's no space in it. Write 7, write div, write square, write write square root. I'll just say write root, and then here I'm going to say write square. And what was this? Write 1x, 1 over x. And this was end of our list of functions right here. Let's save it, and let's go to our script folder and make a main.js file. Now, one of the interesting parts about JS is you can place it anywhere, even after body tag. You're just going to add a script tag, and just add an src, which will be script/main.js, and you're done with that. Just write a type, and there is going to be text/javascript. So yeah, we add a script tag in end of our HTML page, HTML document, if we want the script to be loaded at end of the end of the document. Because let's say that you're making a document which is really JavaScript intensive, so you wouldn't want the page to be loaded before the JavaScript loads itself. So that will lead to basic errors and bugs in your web page, and we want to not go through them. So this is our main.js file, and we are going to make a global variable which will store our whole string of operator. So we are going to write a evaluate function first, which is just simply evaluate function. So I'll just say function evaluate function, which is simply going to evaluate the op. So I'll just say var a stores eval of op, and then we are going to display this evaluated op in our display area. So we are going to say document dot get element by id dot element id, where the id name is what was the id name again? calc output dot value not node value is going to be a, which is going to say that. And let's add actually 3 plus 5 here instead of where we had previously in our folder. So when we click on equals to, well, we should be getting a 5, but we're not getting a 5. I'll just move it from here to not required, not required, not required at all. So do we have to set an inner HTML here? I'll just set an inner HTML, Is our script loading? These are the things which you need to take care of, Well, at least our script is loading, that's for sure. And our function name, I'll just close that window. Our function name is also what I mean it to be, evaluate. Right here. Okay, so let's just try seeing if actually something works. If we are actually able to write anything there. No, not at all. So what did we do then? Do we need to remove disabled? I think the disabled was an important aspect of the program. Yeah, that is true, at least here. And the event is also on click. And yeah, we have made it focusable, so that should be working. Okay, am I getting any feedback on YouTube right now? I don't know. No, not at all. Well, I didn't want to do that, but yeah, let's go to my GitHub repo already. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's the stat value. Didn't work for us. Why didn't it work? There should be dot value, and it should be working, but it's not. Document.get by id. I'm using that correctly, right? I'll just copy it from here and paste it here. Change it to calc output just to make sure everything's working. Isn't that calc output right here? Yeah. And hey, Okay, all right. Let's not stop our process right here. We should be moving on. I'll just check the evaluate function later. Let's start with our writing function. So let's start with, the bottom of the screen, which is write decimal. So yeah, let's go with write decimal function first. Function write decimal function, and what we're going to do is we are going to say var a. We can just have anything we want. So we're going to say the document dot get element by id. Okay, or we can just say op equals plus, op plus equals, at least op plus equals uh, dot, because we're going to add decimal, and then we're just going to console.log op just to make sure that it's working. All right, so let's add a decimal, and let's see if we are getting something on console. Okay, so write decimal is not defined at HTML table call element dot on click. So it's something related to acquiring the JavaScript, but the functions should be working correctly, I guess. Should I search for the error which I'm... Okay, so why does it require two arguments and only zero are present? I'll just go to main.js and evaluate. I'll just say evaluate 5 plus 6, just to make sure if it's working and I'm doing something wrong. Well, now I'm using two of the arguments at least. So console.log op is not working. We're doing something wrong right here. Write decimal is not defined, but it's clearly defined. Should I just include a script in head tag? That will not be making any difference, I guess. Yep, it did not. Alright, there's one more thing which might be possible, and that is that maybe TDs don't support on-click events. So I'll just try that. I'll just add a button inside of it, and I'll say that when the button's clicked, then call this on-click event. Okay, so I'll just do the same thing for write decimal and see if it works for that. If it works, we'll have to do a lot of work right now. It did not. I'll just copy this, and search for the bug right here. Alright, so where is color.raw? Can I add this code? If the external style script is referenced, the script inside is not executed. What does that mean? A script has a src, then the text will not be executed as JS. You need to write multiple script elements: a script to load an external script, a script to hold your inline code with a call that is an external script in case you are using two scripts. I have to do that. Okay, yeah, but I'm not using two elements, right? Yeah, I've got this function. The current code sets global variable called src to the value of app.js. I think you actually want to load app.js. What the fuck? What does that even mean? Yeah, I'm using this itself. Should I? I'm not even sure about that. Does removing this even work? What? Seriously? I thought that this was an important part of it. Alright, I'll just undo a few times then. And then remove this part. It seems that writing type equals regular JavaScript is just making it confused rather than making it easy. And now it works. Well, okay. So we have some error in our evaluate function, which we'll see later. So what we did here was in our function right here, uh, when we click on something, it just gets added to our output variable. So you can see that I am adding as many dots as I want. Alright, so we want to make a string out of our out of our out of our global variable, and we're going to evaluate that global variable, which is op. So we will add uh, a document file again, a document.getDocument by id dot calc value equals op, because we want to display it here too. So it's working now. Well, I'll just add two more of these, and then I'll be skipping all of these because I'll be copy pasting them. I'm copying pasting them already. Write HTML. Let's start with write one. What was that actually? Let's see what it is. Write 0 and write negate. Alright. Well, write 0 and write negate. What was the name of the function again? Write negate. And we're just going to change this op dot to 0, and then op negate to plus minus. I don't even know how to display this, but I'll figure something out. So 0 dot 0 now works. And does not mean anything. So now I'll be copying most of my write functions from here, from one itself. So I've written write 0, so I'll start with write 1, and I'll go till all the functions are over. Right, delete. And we are using write decimal already, so I'll just remove that. Write decimal. Okay, and write clear works. Well, I think that is okay. Yeah, that works too. So I guess we have copied all the right function at least. So just okay. Yeah. No, we have to rename these functions accordingly. This should be write 1 and write 2. write 4, and write 5. This actually took more than what I thought will take, just because it looks simple, it ain't simple. Write 8, write 9, write add sub prod, should be prod, and this should be div, write clear, and write delete. Alright, so we haven't actually made, okay, so it's still saying cannot read property value of null, and that's because we are using calc-disp here. But in our code, which we are writing currently, we have calc output. So we'll just say calc output, replace all of these, and save and run. So now we can write almost anything. Well, okay, so what I did in my original calculator was I omitted these three and I added a clear button and then a small bracket parentheses to be if you want to do some pod mass operations. So well, we can go that route here too, but since we have actually we can actually go that route here also. So we'll just change it from write 1 over x to write left braces, left bracket, and right square to right bracket. And then I also had a clear and a delete thing, so we can do that also. So we can just say that add a delete button here, and at the end of this, like where we have the negate button, we can have a clear button which clears all of that. So here we have negate and we can just make it clear. These are things which will actually be helpful in a calculator rather than square root, I guess. Well, actually square roots are important too. I'm not taking anything away from them, but well, I just feel that it might just be better. And remove sub from here. So now we can make it right delete, and you can see that we can remove just one of these letters using delete, and when I click on clear, it clears all of that, all of the stuff. So we still have to add the small parenthesis thing, so we'll just copy one of our original right decimal things, and we'll just copy paste it 2 times and make it right left bracket, right left bracket, and right bracket, and change it to those. And save it. Alright, so it says that right left bracket is not defined, but we've clearly defined that. So I'll just copy the name from here and paste it here. Ouch. What did I just do? Alright, it works now. So we can just say 7 into 8 and then equals to will give us some value, and yeah, we have to still work on our evaluate function, right? So yeah, let's just take a look at this evaluate function which we have right here. So we're just making an eval op, and then we are saying op equals b. It should still not work, right? Because it's essentially the same thing. We're just and again in a different container kind of thing. So it says that use a single string, a single double string, and go back to evaluate function. Here it says, well, yeah, it should work now, I guess. No, failed to execute evaluate function on document. Okay, yeah, oh, okay, I guess evaluate might already be a function, but if it is, how did it work here? Okay, so we're using a calculate function here. So I guess evaluate actually is a JavaScript function by default. But it's not. It's just eval function. All right, we'll just rename our function. Doesn't matter much. We'll just make it calculate here too, and make it calculate here too. Save it and see if it works now. All right, so yeah, the name was main problem. Evaluate might just be a inbuilt function for JavaScript. So now, since our functions are working, we can get rid of console.log. Oh, I think that I've already got. Yeah, I haven't got rid of them yet. I'll just remove all the console.logs. And we have got a working calculator right here. It took us 1 hour to make it, but yeah, it was totally worth it, I guess. You can still, change the color of these things, and we have to disable the text area still. I'll just add a disabled here so that now no one can edit that, but you can just simply add stuff in there, evaluate it, delete it. Also, in the previous calculator which I made, well, you could not do this. You could not just say 1548 and then add something to it. It would have worked differently. I'll just show you that. I'll just show you my previous calculator. So what happened here was, once I wrote 78, minus 36, I would get an output 42. But if I tried adding it something, well, it works like charm. So we have done it. We have completed our calculator. Let's do a few visual modifications in our calculator, and we'll be done with that. So first thing which I saw was, in the original calculator which I made, the text is getting displayed on right hand side of the screen. That really doesn't matter uh, till you are not really depend on that. We can just change the output size and set it to 10 viewport height just to make it more larger, and then reduce the size of our calci buttons to 3 viewport height to make it more appealing, make it more easy on the eye, stuff like that. And well, I'll just make it 4 viewport height, that makes it better. Also, what we can do is we can add a bold to it. So we can say that font weight will be bold, so it's more clearly visible, stuff like that. Also, I guess I'll be changing the colors a little bit because they're just blatant white, blatantly. Let's change a few of those colors. So let's make the top one absolute white, FFF. Yep, and is it resizable? Why is it resizable? We'll have to make it not resizable. And let's add 3 more F's here. And let's make the calci OP area, operations area, have an height of whatever they want, and let's change the color to, well, should we go dark theme like this one right here? We can do that easily. But yeah, let's just strip those colors. Let's make it something of a reddish hue, I guess. So we just need to increase the R part and we get this reddish hue, and decrease the blue and green part. So if I set it to CC, I'll get this pinkish button style, which I'm not really fond of. I'll just make it again as FFFA. That is fairly better. And then we can go back, just reduce the brightness of this one. Just set it to the same thing, and everything else will be taken care of by the calculator itself. So this, you can see this is a light themed version of our calculator. So if you want a dark theme version, you can just invert the colors. You can just go down here and say @media prefers color scheme. I think that this is the right property. Prefers color scheme dark. Then you can just take up the root element and just add a filter to it. Filter of inversion 100% and a hue rotate of 180 degrees. I'm not sure if it works or is it the correct property to use. So we'll just search for it. Prefers color scheme CSS, and yep, this is correct, but I don't have to include it in inverted commas. Prefers color scheme dark. Didn't still work. Will it work now? It's the exact same thing. Alright, so it's not working. I don't know why. But yeah, that's what you can do to set a color scheme preference. We can just try to change color of individual elements. So I'll just say calc OPS area and set a background for it, a new background, and I'll say the background is red. Yep, it's not working. So I think that it's not working because it's in default in light mode, but my Chrome is in dark mode by default. Nope, didn't work here too. Alright, so there's a thing which you can do to add a dark theme to your application or a web app, whichever you're making, and this is the property to do that. Prefers color scheme. I'll actually make a video on this one later to properly tell how to use this, and this is actually the correct way to use it, but I don't know why it didn't work. So yeah, that's going to be end of our live stream. We have our calculator, we have our output, and that's awesome. Alright then, I'll just end this live stream.